Microsoft has revealed details of a new artificial intelligence tool that it says is better than doctors at diagnosing complex health conditions. Many experts, however, are sceptical of the tech giant's claims. Professor Karin Verspoor is the Dean of the School of Computing Technologies at RMIT University, and she joins us now from Melbourne. Hi there, Karin. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Just take us through what we know about this AI tool and the research into it.
We know very little at this point. What we do know is that Microsoft has collected about 300 examples of complex medical cases from a journal, from the New England Journal of Medicine, which they then transformed to simulate interactive investigations done by medical practitioners.
So just take us through some of the, detail behind that research. How have they sort of come to this conclusion that it is theoretically better than humans at diagnosing complex health conditions?
Yeah, so they took those cases and they ran the system through the process of trying to make a diagnosis using simulated tests and information that they were pulling into the study. And then they compared the diagnoses that the AI made with the diagnoses of actual medical practitioners who were given the same information. The difference was, though, that the medical doctors were not given access to books or literature or even their colleagues in order to help them make those decisions. As a result of this experiment, they found that the clinicians only correctly diagnosed 2 of the cases, whereas the AI was able to diagnose 8 of them.
AI is obviously coming into almost every avenue of our lives, it seems, these days. But what can't artificial intelligence do, though, in this case, that human doctors can?
One of the key things that a machine cannot do is to understand the values and even the history of the patient in a lot of detail. So it can't turn around and ask the patient questions to dig in deeper into some of the symptoms or some of the feelings. And it can't understand the full context of the patient's beliefs and values.
It is very easy, I think, to be sceptical of artificial intelligence in healthcare, but does it have a place in diagnosing illness at all, do you think?
There's a lot of value in using a system to kind of integrate very complex information. And medicine is complex. There is absolutely no question. So being able to rely on a tool that can really dig through a lot of data and compare that with other people's data or the information that we have in the scientific literature is indeed extremely valuable. However, we have to see it as a support for decision making, not a replacement.
Microsoft AI's chief executive has reportedly said that these systems are on track to be almost error-free in 5 to 10 years. What do you make of that?
I think that is a rather grandiose claim, to be honest. You can't extrapolate from the 10 cases that they tested in this study to the full diversity of patient situations. And real world clinical data looks much messier than the data that they were working with in this scenario. And to think that we're going to go from, essentially a toy study today to full capability in 5 years, I believe is very unrealistic.
All right, Professor Karin Verspoor there for us. Thank you so much for your insights this evening.
Thank you so much for having me.